You got a red dot on your head too.
Shut your...
Oh, shit.
So we're back out here in Brooklyn on Pond Street once again, and now we have a candidate out here for mayor. His name is Dan Fein. How are you doing today?
All right, thanks very much. I'm running for mayor with the Socialist Workers Party, and part of what I'm explaining is that there's two New Yorks. There's New York of the bosses, the billionaires, the big corporations, the capitalists, and they have the Democrats and Republicans looking out for them. Then there's the other New York. That's you and me, who work for a living, who make them rich off of our labor. We got the Socialist Workers Party, my campaign for mayor on our side. That's why we fight for stronger unions. I walked the picket line when the school bus drivers were on strike back in February. The Democrats, Republicans are trying to balance the budget off the backs of the working class. We say eliminate stop and frisk and eliminate police repression. When the police murder black youth in this city, they're doing their jobs. That's what they're supposed to do. They get paid to defend this system. They want to put us in our place. They want us to put fear in our hearts so that we don't organize and fight for our rights. Things are getting worse for working people, and it's not because of a particular policy or a particular governor or president. It's because of the capitalist system, which is in crisis today. And all the bosses can do is squeeze you and me more and more with longer hours and less pay. And ultimately, what we have to do is make a revolution and take power out of the hands of the boss's government, because not only do they own the government, they own the economy and they own the country. It's their country. They own everything. We just own our toothbrush. And maybe we own a car to go to work. That's it. But they own everything, and their government backs them up. And working people need to create a new government by eliminating the government of the bosses and bringing the working class to power and building a new kind of society that's not based on profit for the big corporations, not based on what's best for Wall Street, but what the working class needs. Well, most immediately, the biggest question, which the Democrats, Republicans never address, is unemployment. There's 24 million people unemployed or partially employed who are working fewer hours, less than 40. Yeah, it's double digits. And they lie about the figures as well, because when someone gets discouraged, it stops looking anymore. They don't count on the government figures. It is discouraging when they're hiring one person and there's 100 people in line for the one job. And you know 99 people aren't going to make it. And so we call for a public works program to put millions to work building affordable housing, child care centers, youth programs for our youth, and other things the working class needs, the infrastructure.
So do you think with all of this information that you're telling the people today, do you think you really have a chance of winning the next election?
Well, it's an uphill battle, because the Democratic and Republican opponents of mine, who I think are irrelevant to working people, they have nothing to do with us and our lives, they have millions of dollars on their side. And the truth of the matter is that the media is owned by the capitalist class. All working people really have is our numbers. They got the wealth, they got the economy, they got the factories, they got the media on their side. What do we have? Our solidarity and unity as working people when we fight together.
Okay. So based on the mayor that we have right now, do you think within the ethnic community, do you think that you would do a better job as mayor than he's doing with helping us within our community?
Well, Bloomberg's job, as is all the Democrats, Republicans, from my point of view, is to look out for the wealthy. The Socialist Workers Party, which I'm the candidate of for mayor, has a totally different agenda. We're looking out for people who work for a living, the people who produce all the wealth. I'll give you an example. They had a rally at City Hall a couple Wednesdays ago, because there's almost 300,000 workers who have no union contracts and haven't had a raise 4, 5, 6 years. So the Bloomberg and the other Democrats, Republicans are trying to figure out how to balance the city budget. I say I could care less about the city budget. What I care about is your budget and your budget. How about the budget of working people who face raising higher rents, more money for gas and food, but you don't get a pay increase? That's the budget I'm worried about.
Okay, definitely. I just want you guys to take note to this guy and make sure that you guys keep him in mind. Dan Fein for mayor. Check him out.
Okay, I just want to thank you once again, because he was here with us about a week, close to 2 weeks ago. I just want to thank him for coming back to Brooklyn once again. And also, I have the paper here where he took a picture of me and him in my barbershop here. Right there. And, you know, he came back again. So, anybody that's seeing this video right now, please support Dan Fein. Dan Fein. Fine. He's excellent. You have anything to say?
Yes, I do. Dan Fein, it was nice to meet you. My name is Leroy Destra. It's the first time meeting you. The question I have is that I'm running my block party this year. They made me in charge of it for August 3rd. I live right here on Pine Street between Blake and Sutter. The question I have for the community, what I'm trying to do is do one block at a time. I'm raising $25 from each house, and the money is going towards the kids' book bags. I'm trying to have, going into September 1st, I want every kid on my block to have a book bag going back to school. This ain't got nothing to do with the city. We're doing it on our own, because what I'm noticing that when the kids are going back to school, they're not having anything. The parents are struggling out here. So I'm asking you, and I'm going to ask other councilmen for help for our block to try to get the kids more education so they're able to be right-minded in school as far as like activities. There's no basketball tournaments out here. Keith Watkins have a thing going on where there's no kids left behind. I'm trying to merge with him. It's a good program, but we need more of that. So are you able to help us to try to comply with the situation?
I think we're on the same page on this. Isn't it funny? Mayor Bloomberg is worried about obesity. Mayor Bloomberg's talking about, the children are too fat and stuff, but he doesn't provide any recreation programs for the children. When I went to school, they had an after-school program for baseball, basketball, football, everything in the world. Where are those? Those are all being cut. There's no recreation facilities for young people in New York City. And the parents are working. They get home at 5, 6, 7 o'clock after work. The kids get out at 3. So what happens to the kids? There's no programs for them.
So basically, with all of the things that's being said out here today, I just want to ask you one last and final question. As other congressmen and other mayors and stuff like that before have said, when they're all running for office, say, we're looking out for your community, we're going to do this for your community. Do you think that you're going to forget about us like they have?
That's an excellent question, because I don't really promise anything other than I will join with you and struggle for the conditions to alleviate the attacks that the working class is suffering today from the boss class. I don't make all sorts of promises. What I say is that change in the past has not been made by just simply electing someone. Look at the civil rights movement, for example. Did that have to do with an election? No. It had to do with millions of people in the streets fighting against Jim Crow segregation, sit-ins at Woolworths, all sorts of protests, demonstrations, strikes. Martin Luther King was in Memphis for the sanitation workers strike when he was killed. So it's actions in the street, which I am part of. That's what the Socialist Workers Party was out there on the picket lines when the school bus drivers were on strike. Where were the Democrats and Republicans? My brother here was in the TWU, bus driver, when they were on strike. All the city's officials are worried about, oh my goodness, the union's holding the city hostage. But I was out there on the picket line saying, no, the other way around. It's the TWU that's fighting for workers' rights, and the city that called them thugs at the time and did everything they could to try to line up working people against them, showed their true colors. So what I'm saying is that together working people have to unite and fight for our interests in the streets, on the picket lines. And my history of political activity and my parties for decades and decades is proof of that. So I'm not about making a bunch of promises. I'm about joining with you in the struggle.
Thank you for that, Dan Fein.
Listen, I just want y'all to remember that on September 6th from 12 to 7, we have a block party on this block here, and I had already invited him last week to come and join us with helping out with the kids and the youth. He's going to be our surprise guest speaker. So if you're watching the video, come out. And he's also going to say a few words about him being the next candidate for mayor. So please come out and support.
Well, we just want to thank you for coming out and giving us your time and speaking with us today. We really appreciate it. And we wish you all the luck on your journey.
Thank you very much.
Much success. Anyway, we're out here. We just spoke to Dan Fein. He's running with the Social Party for mayor. Check him out, Google him. Today's my first day meeting him, so now you guys are getting to meet him just like me. We have a lot of block parties going on over here in the neighborhood in East New York. We have one coming to you August 3rd on Pine Street between Sutter and Blake. We got another one coming to you August 18th on Pine Street between Blake and Dumont. I'm sorry about that. We have another one coming to you. Finally, Mels is presenting it on Pine between Belmont and Pitkin. Check us out. Shot your DVD.
You got a red dot on your head too.
Shut your...
Oh,